notified.
Okay, I will.
And now we're live. Were you notified?
I was! So, without further ado, we're lost in space. Whoa!
Wait.
Whoa! They shouldn't be able to hear us. We're in space.
All right, and our fans hate us.
Accurate science there.
Yeah.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, if he watches this, he'll be like, "That was accurate."
I would.
He'd be satisfied.
He'd be really happy with that.
So, are any of our fans here tonight?
They are.
Which ones? The good ones?
The good. They're all good. There. We have Vexy, Guido, Hello Blue, and BBT.
All right, so they should be enjoying this very much.
Yeah. It's for the early bird special. So, welcome to another rousing episode of Beer and Video Games TV.
Doing something a little different this time.
Yeah, this will be a first. We're doing gaming talk shows, which I have come to realize is a genre on Twitch, and it's actually pretty high. So
what exactly does our title say?
300 follower rush and Steam giveaway : Beer Video Games TV talk show, MMO talk show.
Okay, so MMO is in there. I was hoping that was in there somewhere.
It was in there. Don't worry. Yeah. So we're talking MMOs tonight. Some of the ones we love, some of the ones we don't love, but deserve some conversation and analysis.
There's going to be more love than not love, I think.
Definitely. We're talking about one of my favorite games of all time, in my top 3 personally. It always surprises people when they hear that it's in my top 3, but we'll get to that momentarily.
Aw, damn it, the anticipation. I was hoping you were going to tell me right now. I don't even know what it is.
I'm not.
I do. Okay, so I think a good way to handle this, a good structure for the entire show is going to be keeping these few things in mind. So the MMO is roughly a new genre, and it's already popped, right? I mean,
yeah, the goal.
Yeah.
It blew up quick, and then it kind of exploded, and they're gone. I think we want to look at the aspects of each of these games we're talking about. Why did these titles cause the genre to explode? And why is it now that MMOs are almost across the board the lowest rated games to come out every year?
Yeah.
So let's chart the rise and fall.
Okay. We shall do that. All right. So do you want to just...
Because I think each of the games, well, I don't know, it's not fair to look at them chronologically that way. Like if we look at Diablo 2, we can't really say that that's at fault for the fall of MMOs, but it probably does have some aspects that grew that we would later hate in further iterations and stuff like that.
Sure, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to get into the first one?
Do we want to just start?
May as well hop right in.
You want to talk about the beer at all?
Yeah, let's talk about the beer first. Well, honestly, we don't really know. I don't know much about any of these beers with the exception of Serpent Stout. So let me...
Serpentine.
Tapines will be drinking this one. So this is what I was drinking when these guys were streaming. It's a good old... Here, you get to pop it. There you go.
I'm pretty shit at doing this. I was hoping you were going to do it for me.
Okay.
I always take forever, and it's just...
So last
be
time...
careful. Once you pop it off, it's going to travel infinitely.
That is true.
Yeah.
So, Serpent Stout is a stout by Lost Abbey. And
that was impressive.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Lost Abbey doesn't really specialize in stouts, but they have... So they have serpents, they have...
Stouts.
Shut up. They have Deliverance, which isn't a stout, it's a strong ale, but it has stout qualities, and they age it in brandy barrels and bourbon barrels, and they also have another one. Judgment Day's a quad.
Looks like that painter who's really nice, always talking about happy trees.
That's a solid quad, though.
yeah, Judgment Day is a solid quad. Yeah, we're gonna put a little... We're going to put a little bush over here. If you don't want that to be a bush, that's okay.
That's okay.
Make a little eucalyptus tree. so there's that.
We'll be demoing this one
really
next.
solid. They put this into bourbon barrels every year, and they blend it with another beer, I think, and that becomes Santa's Little Helper.
Really?
Yeah, which we had a long time ago.
Wow, so they
a long time ago on the stream.
They completely break aesthetic on that one, huh?
Yeah, well, Santa's Little Helper, it comes out of Port, and Port is like the parent company of Lost Abbey.
Yeah.
So they kind of cross-pollinate. Now, this next one is, let's see. This is Class 5. It's by Kern River Brewing.
Kern River.
Yeah,
I didn't know they had a brewery.
Yeah, these guys are super famous for their IPAs.
I've been camping up there.
Yeah.
It's a nice river.
A lot of people like Kern River. I've never had this stout, but Kern River is really known for their big IPAs. Like they made a single origin or like a single hop IPA, so they made a Citra IPA, and that's one of the most sought after IPAs in California right now. If it weren't Pliny the Younger season, people would be chopping off their dicks and trading them to get their hands on this. All right, now this last one is Vanilla Otis by Ninkasi. Again, I've personally not had Ninkasi, but they're from Eugene, Oregon, so they're in Guido's neck of the woods.
Oh.
Ninkasi did a collaboration for Beer Camp with Sierra Nevada, and that beer was my second favorite out of all the beers that they did. They made 12 with 12 different breweries. The only other one that beat this one was the collaboration between Sierra Nevada and Bell's. So Ninkasi should be pretty solid on its own, and it's an oatmeal stout with vanilla. You can't go wrong.
You cannot.
Oh, it sounds nice to me.
Yeah, so I'm going to pour mine because I'm ready. These guys are drinking Duet, which is another.
We're having a
beer.
duet over here.
I like that.
All right, so here's this guy pouring pretty nicely.
Oh, that sounds heavenly.
Yeah. So how's the Duet, guys? How's it smell?
Well, let's see.
Well, I already told you I'm pretty terrible with differentiating amongst the smells of IPAs, so I'm gonna let the tasting do the work.
Yeah, do it.
Smells crispy.
Ooh. That is very smooth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just 2 hops, Amarillo and Simcoe, which are two of the hops on the hop ticket for Pliny the Elder. Now, I don't know if you have Pliny the Elder in your taste catalog, but
yeah, I
to
do.
me it tastes a lot like Pliny the Elder.
Yeah, I could see the parallels between them.
Pliny is a bit more piney than this one is.
Yeah, it is.
But
That one tastes like a straight-up Christmas tree.
Yeah, the backbone is still there, though.
As far as comparing those, I'd actually probably put like Racer 5 closer in genealogy to Pliny.
I think so, too.
Interesting.
Racer 5 doesn't get much respect, but...
Yeah.
I love Racer 5.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's good, then.
Yeah.
Because I think it's very comparable. But I like this a lot, too.
I don't know. I'm getting a lot of just bitterness out of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, that's kind of weird. I was thinking it wasn't too strong in the bitterness.
Yeah, and that's kind of odd because Steve1160, what's up? Thanks for stopping by.
Is that you?
Yeah, I just ran my computer at home.
Oh, it's a bot.
Yeah.
You got a bot running.
Okay. Really?
Totally fine. What's going on, Steve?
I didn't think so at first, but that we had been talking about bots this weekend. So, anyways, yeah. So the thing is that Simcoe is not a particularly bitter hop, and Amarillo is a big citrus hop.
Okay.
So it's kind of odd that you're just picking up on bitterness, because
because I wasn't picking up on the bitterness.
Yeah, Amarillo is quite lovely.
I mean, the thing is, I don't know. I feel like the hops are naturally bitter.
Well, yeah,
they're going to be on the bitter side
of
the spectrum.
Intrinsic to them, they'd be bitter.
Right, but not all hops are bittering hops.
Mm-hmm.
Amarillo is a aromatic hop, and like Citra, for instance, is a big citrus flavor hop rather. So again, there's.
But I thought intrinsic to the nature of it, just being a hop, would mean that it is.
Well, yeah,
to some extent,
right? It's always going to be bitter, but there are different types of characteristics.
As long as we can keep using the word intrinsic, I think I'll be happy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Transient too.
Transient.
We'll just throw that in there.
Transient. That is a nice one. Isn't it?
It's like a blanket to me for my ears.
Oh boy.
What?
I spelled needed wrong. I spelled netted.
Well, let's see if we can fix that on the fly, or else we're just gonna look like freaking plebes.
Here, I'll get up there.
We look like a bunch of jackasses.
Where's the? Okay, so this is the title.
Yeah.
Oh, we're lucky.
Nice.
Oh, we're just lucky.
Thank goodness.
You be careful with shaking that thing around.
Thanks for pointing that one out, Blue.
Hello Blue did that?
Yeah, because she's a mod, dog.
Let's give her $20 back. Failed
Let's give her
her
a hand for that one.
Alright, there you go. Save it. Boom. Yeah.
Official spell checker, donator, mod. What can't you do, people?
Alright, so without further ado, I want to get into the talk at hand. Alright, so
let's hit it.
First up on the agenda today, one of my top 3 favorite games of all time, Diablo 2.
Solid choice.
Now, we can talk about
LOD.
the chronology of MMOs, and really you can argue that this isn't technically an MMO.
Yeah.
You're right, yeah.
The only thing that notably comes before this, I think, would have to be RuneScape.
I think, when you're looking at the birth of MMOs, this would be the closest common ancestor, I guess, to the genre.
Well, what about like EverQuest?
I was just about to say EverQuest.
Oh, true. That is a good point. I just never played it.
MMO.
I didn't play
but this
EverQuest,
predates EverQuest, right?
Well, certainly Diablo does.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Diablo.
Yeah, and like I said, the only thing would have to be a RuneScape, and I can't believe people still play that, but they do.
I can't.
That is a bit weird to me. Yeah.
Now I don't have experience with RuneScape, so I don't want to talk about it. So all 3 of us.
That's actually what got me into it. Which is weird.
All 3 of us have like extensive experience with Diablo 2.
That was sort of that transitionary game for me because I was heavily into Counter-Strike and Dave Defeat before.
Yeah.
And then I made that transition into RuneScape.
Yeah, how old are you when you were playing that game?
Which?
Diablo 2.
I think like 10.
You're like fucking 10 years old.
Yeah. No,
making me like 13.
Like 14.
I think I was in 7th grade.
And I'm playing this game with a fucking 10-year-old.
Yeah.
I was a kick-ass 10-year-old.
Damien, what's up? Thanks for stopping by. We're about to get into our Diablo 2 talk. So bear with us if this is your first time. So, but welcome to the channel. So, Diablo 2. How seriously the first thing we have to get into with Diablo 2 is arguably my favorite aspect of it, the aesthetic. I don't think there's ever been a game before or since that I have loved in terms of just like the way that the world looks, the way that the people look, all of the monsters, all of the
every single one
all
of
the
them.
textures, all the
Rakanitsu.
Yeah, hell yeah. I love those things.
The sad thing is that you can argue that the aesthetic of it is what led to its demise in Diablo 3 when it comes to that over-the-top view that
the isometric.
Yeah, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, and I'm not talking so much about that.
I'm talking about like character design.
Yeah, and that's actually what
color palettes.
Yeah, and that's actually something I don't really care about. Like I in Diablo 3, that was the thing that I had least of an issue with. But with the aesthetic, that world is fucking tits, dude. I love it. It is so dark. It is so hopeless. It is so gothic. It is. It
really was.
It's medieval. Like it's fucking amazing, dude. The tone is just. All right, yeah, go. Interrupt me.
This is an interactive experience here, so let's see what Ryan has to say here.
Something I want to say that the aesthetic is great, especially what you said about the tone, and something you didn't mention, the music is fantastic.
Music is incredible.
Yeah, of course.
The world as a whole, I would argue, is not that great because it's patchwork. And there's no continuity between it. You're being teleported to these vastly different points, which are actually pretty small, and everything's kind of a dungeon crawl. The enemies are different, but the world doesn't actually change from scene to scene.
And I would disagree with that too. I mean, I can see your point, but I definitely think that in Diablo 2, the world itself, even though it was small, it also had a story. Just like the world inherently had a story. There were a lot of shacks that like there were like small tableaus where there was either like a torture scene or there was like a break-in where the
little baby
the goblins and all that. Yeah, like and they were all unspoken. They were it was flavor. It was pure flavor.
Yeah.
But the thing was that it all basically built off of that hopeless theme and that just that fucked up world. Mm-hmm. And it just really at every step that you take in D2, it's just incredible.
Yeah.
You're getting this really, really rich world, really textured world. And it's all fucking evil.
It's I think you make good points about the subtlety of those vignettes. Those are very nice. But there's something missing from like a visceral connection. There is like all of the games that we're going to talk about tonight, except for maybe the later ones, there were places that I know Steve and I had like emotional attachments to.
Yeah.
Like that you would inhabit and that was your space because it's all part of the world, places that you would go. That doesn't really happen in Diablo. You're moving the whole time.
I can see that point too. One second though. Chad is saying that D2 does not count. And we're not saying it counts either. This is just, I think, the springboard.
This was kind of like a segue for it because I think more specifically, we're not just talking about MMOs. We're going to be talking about MMORPGs.
Yeah.
And this is definitely not an MMO.
Everything after this is an MMO proper.
Yeah.
But this is the prototype.
Big Trouble saying that Ultima Online is like his first experience with it, and they're saying that let's see.
Gaffenberg?
Yeah, just they're nitpicking, but again, we're not pushing that this should be considered an RPG.
No, by no means.
Yeah, just the segue.
Yeah. It's good to talk about though. I mean, we're critiquing all of the same elements.
It merits some attention.
Yeah.
I think it'd be.
It's happy to see you, Steve.
Ooh, when did that happen?
I don't know. Maybe we set something down in it. Yeah, there we go.
Ooh, I like that.
Bubbling up.
I think arguably this would be an introductory. Probably people who got MMOs injected into their bloodstream had probably played this. This was like
definitely.
I'm willing to bet most of the people
this was the virus.
Because actually, the same time that I started playing this, I was also playing EverQuest. I played EverQuest Ruins of Kunark, and I was in 7th grade, but I only played that for a limited amount of time because I didn't realize back in the day that you needed good internet to have a proper MMO because D2 ran perfectly
on 56K.
Yeah, on 56K. EverQuest fucking certainly did
you
not.
Like that one? Booting up on that?
Yeah. God, that was so bad.
God.
Booting up an AOL account.
I mean, if you had good experience with EverQuest, feel free to comment on that.
Well, I didn't was the thing. I couldn't. I couldn't have a. I couldn't have a good experience with it. Flying V, what's up, buddy? Good to see you.
Actually, Steve Teppanyok has a. That's like his game. Like he fucking loved EverQuest.
Yeah.
I don't think we have anybody here to speak on EverQuest's behalf. So
No.
Yeah, not really. What about you guys in the chat? If you have something to say about EQ, go ahead and throw in.
I know they have some loyal and passionate fans.
EQ Next,
still
EQ Next looks like it's a cool new MMO. I mean, it's supposed to be the next big thing. That's why they're calling it that. You know, they're not just putting a number on it. I mean, that's marketing, but it looks cool.
Yeah,
they look like they want to reassume their role as the forerunner of MMOs.
Yeah. So, want to talk about some characters that you remember?
We should talk about maybe characters or the mechanics of the game.
Let's go characters first.
Do you mean classes?
No, we'll talk about classes later. But Hello Blue beta tested EQ.
No shit.
Oh. Flying V has never played an MMO.
Oh jeez.
He has played 0 seconds.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. You're gonna have a good time, Flying V. We're in it for the long haul on this one. Man. So characters, you're talking like Tyrael.
Yeah. Deckard Cain.
Deckard Cain. Wirt.
Yeah,
the implied Wirt.
Yeah, there you go. But then also the guy in Kuros. The first thing he goes, why wouldn't you people just leave me the hell alone? Love that crotchety old fuck. But then you've got
Who gives you the cube, the Herodric cube?
No.
Who?
You find it. You find it in Act 2.
I know you get it. I thought it was gifted to you and everybody just uses it as storage.
I think I think you find it in that. But then there was also I really liked the person who imbues your weapon in Act 1. She I think was a barbarian or something.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, so she was a cool character, and when LOD came out, there was even more stuff added to her character, which kind of fleshed her out a little bit more.
Go to her little city.
Yeah.
The barbarian one.
There was also... I also liked... Danny Clark, what's up? And we're not going to talk about corrupt gaming journalists.
Oh, God.
So...
That's us.
Yeah, that's us. Exactly.
10 out of 10. Buy it.
Final Fantasy 13 Part 3. Buy it. So, there were also just really cool bosses. Like, I always liked Mephisto.
Mephisto was pretty badass.
Mephisto is a total badass.
Yeah.
I also really liked...
Isn't it funny that Diablo kind of got screwed on the whole deal? Because in his own game, like, Mephisto was more badass, and then Bale came at the end, who was more badass.
Yeah.
So he's like this awkwardly sandwiched in the middle of two badasses. Huh?
Bale.
Diablo.
Yeah,
Bale gets fucked
Diablo himself, but his brothers are cooler.
I know, it's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
I really liked Act 5. Act 5, like... was just incredible. So many epic fucking
Wait, which one was 5? Was that Diablo or Bale's chapter?
It was Bale's chapter.
Bale's. Yeah, that was actually one of my favorites, I think.
Yeah, I always was really partial to Act 3 with the exception of, like, there are some enemies that they have the blow darts and they can really fuck your shit up. And they suck and I hate them passionately. But aside from that, Kuros was pretty fucking awesome. I really like the swampy... School Basher Gaming, what's up? And we noticed that you noticed this little guy right here. He's happy to see us. He's happy to see you too.
It's respirating.
But like, there was that uphill battle that you had to beat, and you had to free all the barbarians who had been taken as slaves.
Yeah,
and just
that was pretty cool.
It was tits, dude. I loved it. I loved every second of Act 5, and going up to the Ariat Plateau where you kill the guardians and shit. Oh,
that was epic.
So nice. So like, you can't say more about Act 5. It just at every turn, there was intrigue and it was just awesome.
It was significantly shorter than the other.
No, that's fine.
Chapters, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was shorter. It wasn't. I don't think it was shorter than Act 4.
Yeah,
but almost. Act 4 and Act 5 are pretty short. Act 3 and Act 2 are pretty long. Especially 2, because 2 is just a pain in the ass. Like, it was always that Act 1 was really...
Oh my god.
You like it?
That's nice.
Jeez. I was a little scared.
dark biblical beer for Diablo.
Hang on.
It just makes sense.
He's having another one of these. He's having a moment.
Holy shit, this is orgasmic.
Yeah, it is. Also, you know what we forgot to do?
What?
Have the newcomer app, so we'll never know if somebody follows us.
Yeah, we did forget to do that.
It's always something with us.
Keep happening, huh?
Yeah, it's just gonna.
We're just never gonna be able to do it. It is Lost Abbey, dude. It's a serpent stout. Let me give you a nice show.
I like how the green picks up on the green screen in there.
Yeah.
You know, another game that followed the technical pattern of Diablo was Phantasy Star Online.
Somebody said that in chat. I can't remember.
Yeah, one of those one-player games that has segments, essentially chapters that you play through over and over and over again. That game was actually a lot of fun as well. That was like action, reaction based, like more of a third-person shooter kind of feel than Diablo, the hardcore RPG aspect. That was a fun one. I put a lot of time in on that one.
Yeah, you
but
did.
I don't think we have common ground on it, so
definitely not.
Let's stick with Diablo.
So the funny thing about Diablo is even though at every turn it just reinforces how fucking hopeless and shitty the world is and how everything is coming to an end and there's no such thing as permanence and, you know, fuck it, it's really nihilistic. And by the end of the game, it has a great turnaround.
I think that was accented really well by the cows.
I think so too.
Yeah. Those fucking cows, man.
Moo, 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 moo,
Who the fuck killed King?
Who killed the fucking king?
Oh, god damn it! You guys rejoin on Cows 3223.
Yeah.
Hell Cow Rush, let's go!
I love cows. We did cows for days, dog.
Oh, we got a wall of text in there in the chat.
Let's see. So, do you guys like your Blue Yeti? I just got one. It seems to be better for YouTube so far, mainly because of background noise. Your audio sounds good, though. Yeah, dude, the Blue Yeti's awesome.
It's fantastic. Watch our last episode when this guy was ranting about it.
Oh, yeah.
Or watch our first 4 episodes when we're ranting about it.
Did we upload that episode of ours?
No.
We didn't?
I've been having trouble with that lately.
You gotta get on
Have
that.
you been having big trouble?
Yeah.
Oh,
big trouble.
Yeah, man, that thing's pretty fucking crazy. I can't even pick up on the sound of my clicks as well as it picks up on it.
You're tripping, Alex Toma. Oh, Crits is here.
Oh,
Hashtag Crits Toma. Shit's getting real.
So, it's a hopeless world.
It is, but at the end, and like the whole cinematic ending is really awesome. Let's see, even when he goes yellow, it doesn't hit me. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I guess just by the end of the cinematic scene, like it's just drink it.
Drink this shit.
Don't just stare at it.
What are you doing?
What?
I said to drink this.
Drink that?
Yeah.
You're saying drink this so I could have some of that.
No, he knew what I was saying.
Well, then maybe.
Well, now you gotta cleanse your palate.
This is instrumental discourse, yo.
Oh fuck!
Get all up in it. Well, thanks. Our green screen wasn't always that great, Skull Basher.
We had to get that mansion right there.
We had to get the Logitech C920 before our green screen looked as good as it does right now.
Yeah, we tried the onboard camera. That didn't work.
Didn't work. Anywho, I think it's now time that we have to talk about the
nitty gritty of the game.
Yeah, let's talk. What was your favorite class?
I'm gonna have to go with barbarian.
Barbarian. What kind of barbarian?
I usually went two-handed.
All right, now
it's just a little whirlwind.
Alex Toma, we said hi. You just chose to ignore us, buddy.
Yeah, AT.
All right, so this is Tapans. Tapans.
Or Steve.
So in chat, we want to know who your favorite class is. Go ahead and tell us. But Steve, two-handed barbarian. Do you do shouts? You a shout guy?
Not particularly.
I was a whirlwind whore.
I was a whirlwind whore because when I first got into that game, I think that was the first exposure that I got to any kind of PvP. Not that I had like a really solid foundation for PvP, but it was the first exposure I had to it. instantly I went towards something that was going to be effective in PvP, and Whirlwind Horrors were pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
And Amazons as well. But yeah, I'd say Barbarian was my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give
Sorcerers?
I'm gonna have to give a cheap answer here. The one because I gotta split it between like pure, raw, fun, non-viable PvP class like Necro. Like that, it's so badass.
Love Necro.
So fucking
I wanted
badass.
that to be my favorite class.
It was exploitable. You know the
Denze, what's up?
Bone Prison Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
And you can kill a lot of barbarians that way. You can kill a lot of Zons. You can kill a lot of assassins. You could kill those fuckers if they're stupid.
Yeah.
And the great thing about people, they never let you down. But if I'm talking about like viably like PvP classes, I'm between Sork and Zon, leaning towards Zon though. Actually,
I like Zon too.
Yeah, that's classic.
Yeah, with homing arrow and piercing arrows.
Yeah,
That was nice.
Amazon's got down when it came to PvP as well.
Yeah,
they do.
So.
For me, it began with the Necro.
Yeah.
And when I was playing single player, I loved making a summoner Necro who always had like 80 fucking minions.
Yeah, skeletons running around.
The skeleton mages, skeleton warriors, golems, fucking all that shit. And I loved it.
That was just badass.
Yeah, it was just awesome to to
it really was.
Like I said,
so intimidating seeing that army.
Non-viably, that was a fucking great class.
But being in the world and playing it, it will never ever get better than the Wind Druid I had. The Wind Druid I had ripped the faces off of
I couldn't
everyone. I so very rarely
you said this shit.
I so very rarely lost a duel because I had
you would have lost to me.
Maybe. fucking maybe. But I had the Enigma armor, which allowed you to teleport.
Oh fuck!
I had the Cyclone that did like 20k a tick, and then you had I had these tiny little tornadoes that each one, if they hit you, it did like 8k, and you could release like 20 of them all over the fucking screen, just teleporting and.
I remember that being the bottom tier class. Like,
yeah, that wasn't very conventional when it came to PvP.
It wasn't conventional, but I fucked bitches.
That is cool that you stuck with that because I was a little bored. I just went with what was really good.
Well, yeah, because I sucked at it at first, and I didn't really like Wind Druid, but I had a friend who was like the bossest D2 player I've ever played with, and he
Scoot dog.
He taught me really how to capitalize off of being the druid and how to get as much as you can off of the wind. Mm-hmm. And I mean, with synergies that came later and all that stuff, synergies really, if you built it the right way, it really did make the druid
it's
ridiculously
one of those things.
OP.
One of the reasons like Paladin was always my favorite class in WoW was because when I was spec prot, nobody else was.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks your class sucks, and then you jump them.
Yeah, you can just wreck their shit.
Really bad.
So Skull Basher Gaming gave us a follow.
Woo!
So 3, 2, 1.
Get him, Skeeter!
So he's a Skeeter for MVP.
He is.
And he's going to give us a Twitter shout out. It is right
at the bottom right of your screen.
Yeah.
There you go.
Beer video games. Alright, so let me get you this guy.
The PvP as a whole.
Oops.
While we're talking about classes, I wish the Paladin was better. That seemed like a cool class.
Wasn't very competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. My buddy was really good with the Paladin. The XP.
Yeah, the XP.
The XP.
Oh shit, tell this story about my brother with his on and your barbarian.
Guido likes the Paladin. Guido's favorite was the Paladin, he says.
Really?
Qualify that statement, my friend.
Again, like I said, I like the Necromancer a lot. I just don't think it was viable. I think the Paladin is the same way.
That was a funny-ass story, dude.
Yeah, get
fanaticism hammered in,
okay,
bro.
So here's a quick little story about how I got into that game. Actually, Bear and his younger brother started playing that game before I did.
Cub.
Cub. Bear and Cub started playing Diablo 2 far before I did. I actually started playing, I don't know, maybe like a half a year or something after you guys did, something like that. And they were showing me the ropes, showing me how the game works, whatnot. And his brother, Cub, had an Amazon, and he decided one day that it'd be fun just to have a little duel. And I was still learning, but I was shitting myself. I'm like, oh no, he's gonna totally wreck my shit right now. He was a few levels higher than me. Anyway, it was my prototype barbarian, and I went out there first for it to be fair, and I told him to take it easy, and he's like, it's all right, I'm gonna take it easy on you. Yeah. So of course when he comes over that little stupid bridge, the little bridge, I'm there just shaking about. I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna wreck me. And the first thing I do is, of course, like a barbarian, I just go straight for that whirlwind. And that nice animation and then the sound that comes with it. And that great sound when you take down someone on Amazon. Everyone knows it. She just falls down. And I remember his reaction. He's just like, we're going to go again. We're going to do it again.
One whirlwind.
One fucking whirlwind. I was just like, get dunked on.
Here's the thing about Diablo. This is the thing about Diablo PvP. It's one of the first times, it's one of the first, like, MMOs, as we're saying, one of these first online competitive games. And it's like, the PvP is like your first time having sex.
Oh my gosh.
That shit's over
quick.
Really is. Those duels just end.
So two things, guys.
And they feel great.
Two things, guys. We've got Vipa, I think. Vipa. Holy Viper! What's up? Thank you for coming by.
Welcome.
And then Guido says, Fist of Heaven, hammered in, and Angelic Avenger. Enough said.
There you go.
He says, get wrecked, shitty.
Get wrecked.
Get dunked on.
Nah, dog. Paladins didn't wreck bomb till WoW.
Yeah.
That's when
we'll get to that. Yeah. We will get to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but oh man, that was a great experience. I still get just goosebumps thinking about that, just wrecking your brother's world.
You know,
so satisfying.
I never got. I think that I was proficient at using most of the classes. Like I had a really good Javazon. I had a good fanaticism hammered in.
Javazon was fun.
Yeah, I mean the Ice Orb, Sork, but I never got proficient at using the fucking assassin, and I always wanted to. But I never did. I just couldn't get into it. I didn't like the class.
Combo points were a little weird in that one.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they fixed that by the time that they got to WoW and they made the Rogue, which was basically is the same thing.
That is a good point right there.
What?
That the problem with it was that it was hacked to all hell.
I got hacked one time. Yep.
That's probably why your druid was so good.
No, it was not. Yeah, you had to play open server to do the hacks, I thought.
Not always. They were really easy to get, but hex charms, man. Those shits were all over the place. Those were hacked items.
Dude, I had no class. I was a stupid little kid. I was like 10. I had like 40 X charms.
Yeah. Dude, you and my brother bought those.
Yeah, I was a stupid kid.
Oh, jeez.
You know what kids are.
Hey, burning fart. Burning fart.
Hey, burning fart. It's
fucking Kevin's here.
Kenson or
no?
Cubs
here. You missed out, buddy.
You missed the story.
Talking about you.
We just had a story about you. That's a shame.
Too bad.
Yeah. The story was 2 minutes premature.
Just like Kevin. So anyways,
let's get back to the highbrow stuff.
Yeah. So, what did you guys think about? Well, what were your biggest problems with it back in the day? Not things that extended past.
You know what I really thought took away from the game as a whole was fucking cows. That's all everyone fucking cared about. They're like, rush me through.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about the content of the game or anything of the work that went into making this game. I don't fucking care. Rush me through. We're going to get to these cows and you're going to just max level.
It became one of those things that you hate in every MMO. It became the infinite gear grind.
Yeah.
Now, and here's the thing. What the hell do you need better gear for in Diablo? If you have the best gear, you've beaten the fucking game. There are no harder instances. There are no harder situations. You've done it. In WoW, you run, in vanilla, you run Stratholme, so you can go run Molten Core or something.
Yeah.
In Diablo,
that shit's done.
It's done. If you beat Bale, you don't need better gear to beat Bale again.
Right.
He's done.
Yeah. And
he He's just acknowledging what happened. So I got wrecked hard by his car.
So, it got to a point where you kind of just had to play the game for the sake of playing the game, and I know that's shitty for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I dumped so many fucking hours maxing out.
I know, even with that said...
I mean, I loved it, man.
Even with that said, being a large problem with the game, I still played the shit out of it.
Yeah, I did too.
But something I will say about Diablo is that kind of pointlessness towards the end made me do something with my classes that I would never fucking do in another game.
What's that?
I would get bored and I'd put it into troll skills. You know, my high level fucking sorceress. I said, I'm just gonna put all my skills in the spark from now on. The level 1 lightning skill. Because it was fucking cool. And it's like in Ragnarok, if I put time into a character, no fucking way am I gonna do that.
Yeah.
Other game, other games added respecking, but like it just became to a point where it's like, why the fuck am I even playing this? I've been killing so many goddamn cows.
You know, it's funny, the anticipation to get to the Ragnarok talk.
Yeah.
Just when you mentioned the name, I could just feel the Ragnarok just flowing through my veins.
So are we talking about Ragnarok now? Are we gonna close?
No,
yeah, we're not close.
Let's not pop. Okay. We gotta. Right. What if I pop?
No. Speaking of pop, can I try this?
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Get the Ninkasi, guys. Feel the passion just flowing through my veins.
I really like this Class 5, by the way. It's pretty solid, and it's pretty cheap too. So, if you guys ever see this, I overpaid for it because that place fucking charges.
Where'd you go to Stone?
No.
Jug.
Yeah, this was like $6. It's not $6 anywhere else. So if you can find it, you should just pick it up. It's good.
Yeah, that's a good point there. Cub mentioned that hardcore mode, and that's something that we're gonna be delving into when it comes to the nature of MMOs now.
Hardcore mode.
I love that those classic games, those ones that started it all, actually had some difficulty to it.
Yeah, there is something to be said about when your ass is dead, you're dead. Like
I never had the balls to go.
That's a little too hardcore.
You imagine the feeling? Because I know none of us actually had the balls to go through with that.
I think I played a hardcore mode until about level
I guess like level
60. I think I got.
Okay, you made it much further than I did.
And I got Gade, and boy did it hurt.
What happened?
I think that.
I can't even imagine how you felt after that.
That's
a high level to just.
Well, you're right. You're in nightmare mode at level 60.
Right.
If you're not in hell. So the thing is, I think that I was coming up on a boss and just got cornered and didn't have mana and didn't have help. And
I can't imagine what was going through your mind. Right? Oh fuck!
Yeah,
I'm dead.
Yeah, it's like Alt F4. Fuck! I didn't Alt F4.
I mean, there's something that like Darkfall did. That it's similar to Diablo 2 is like when you die.
We're gonna demote you, Hello Blue.
When you die, you drop all your shit, including your equipped shit.
Yeah.
Now that is, I think, it's a very harsh, hardcore mode, but it's also fair. Like at least you don't have to level up your shit again. Like you don't have to level up a character. Yeah, you can go get more gear, even if it's great gear. You can get it back. Some asshole out there is laughing with it because it's his now. But
some guys having the time.
That is an acceptable level of hardcore. I think that deleting your character is a little harsh on death. You know.
It's rough. To answer Crit Scout, do you have snacks in your van?
Snack.
No. Do you want to get into his van?
Yeah. If you have snacks, I will probably get in. But if not, I don't see a point.
He has Snickers bars, apparently, is what he's saying.
Ooh.
All right, so chat does not want D2 anymore.
Really?
So closing remarks about D2.
Well, we said, okay, so
closing statements.
Our closing statements, I think, should be the framework we laid out at the beginning. What did this add? Why did this add to the MMO boom?
Well, I think that this was kind of like the playing field for Blizzard. And I think that I think that the extent of customization within the class really did transfer. Like, in D2, you have, Wind Druid, Feral Druid, and Summoning Druid. You have Ice on, Fires on, Bolts on. You have Bone Necro, Summoning Necro, and Poison Necro. There's the 3 branches, and then, you had Enhanced Shaman, Elemental, and Restorative. They took that and made it their own thing in WoW.
Addressing a lot of the problems with the world and
as well. Making the world bigger and making it denser.
Seamless is actually something that people don't talk about in WoW, but that was a big deal.
Seamless
transitions
awesome.
between areas.
Yeah.
It's far more immersive like that.
It is.
Yeah, definitely.
Final Fantasy XI was patchwork. It wasn't seamless, but they found ways to make up for that. But of course, we'll talk about that later.
Are we going to talk about Final Fantasy?
Oh, yeah. Fuck. Oh, yeah. But, okay, so conventions that it spawns that would be the fall of MMOs. Infinite grind at the end. Infinite loot grind.
Yeah.
Infinite loot grind.
That's definitely the problem with Guild Wars 2. There was no good end of game content.
No end game. Now that's going to be something that is a major problem with MMOs now that people complain about. They say it's a rush to max cap. So what's the point of the entire game, right? You rush and then you play the game. Then why level? Why don't you just start at the max level?
And that's something that Final Fantasy XI got right.
That is something that it got incredibly well. Does this count? There was no end game content in Diablo, right? I mean, you couldn't really count it. It's a one-player game. You beat it.
Yeah. All you did from that point was just dunk on people.
Yeah.
Just wait outside, just whirl.
In 2 seconds.
Yeah. You're dead.
Or have like a Zon shoot arrows at you from off screen. Oh, what the hell? Ah!
Fucking quitting this game. / uninstall.
So closing remarks on Diablo would have to be that.
I still love it. I don't give a fuck.
I mean, it was a great game overall for me.
It's a great game, and while we're talking about being out of its historical context now, the overhead isometric is not something that.
That's something
it's not.
Something I mentioned earlier about I guess the main reason for me to not like Diablo 3 was largely to do with that.
Yeah. And now people are saying that the tab target MMO is dead. Like, that's an outdated mechanic.
What are we moving more towards then?
Stuff like Guild Wars 2, WildStar, where you're actually skill shotting and aiming stuff. That.
Yeah.
No tab targeting.
Isn't there tab targeting in Guild Wars 2?
Yeah, but you can see how that's like a transitionary step.
Yeah, it is. Because you can mess with your skill there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, some skills, yes.
Yeah,
some skills.
Like your charges and stuff are targeted, but everything else is pretty much aim it.
Yeah.
But from what I see, WildStar is completely not tab targeted. You just throw your shit out there.
Yeah.
All right, well, we should definitely transition now. We're almost like an hour in, and it's just been Diablo. They have a solid point.
Ooh, do we really?
Yeah, it's 7:52.
We started at 7.
Dude, we're goddamn talkative.
We are. We're loquacious.
All right, let's get this rolling.
All right. D3 is not fun.
D3 sucks.
D3 sucks.
It sucks.
Ragnarok on
and here I must step out.
Feels.
The fucking feelings.
Holy shit, this is where the tip hands was.
Dude, I always wanted to play Ragnarok, and I just could never do it on my computer.
Everything that we said about the class system in Diablo 2, you put that shit on steroids here. It's had a fantastic class system.
That's what I hear.
The fucking soundtrack, on it. The grinding, years.
On eternity.
Dude, speaking of which, I'm just going to mention a game that probably nobody in the chat has played, and you guys probably haven't either. And it's horrible. Like, it's a horrible game. Nobody really likes it, except for me. And I don't even like it. I like the memories that it conjures up in me. Because there was a time when I couldn't pay to play MMORPGs. No. Shut up.
But that's true.
So there was a time where I couldn't pay for it. This was when I was in high school. I didn't have I had DSL, but I didn't have a good graphics card, and I had no RAM. Like my RAM sticks were fucking graham crackers. Like
256 megabytes.
Yeah, I had fucking nothing. So the game that I played with my friends on my shitty DSL with no graphics card was a game called Priston Tale. Did you guys play that?
No.
Did anybody play Priston Tale? Because let me tell you about Priston Tale.
God damn it!
Priston Tale was
fine. No, we get a black background for that.
What the fuck? I'll be done this fucking second. I'll be done in a second. There were 60 levels, and each 10 levels you got one skill, and you specialized your class just a little bit more each time, and all it fucking was a grind fest.
Yeah, horrible. That just seems tedious.
It was horrible. It was fucking ridiculous. But I played it right before I played WoW because none of my friends, I wasn't playing those types of MMOs with my friends, and like I said, I had no graphics card.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Are we ready?
I am sweating.
It's hot as balls in here.
Oh, okay.
Ragnarok Online.
No, to answer your question, Cub, we will not be covering RuneScape.
That would have been. We're going chronological order. That's the past.
That is the past. We didn't have common
You take
ground
your
there.
goddamn dragon axes.
Jesus. 1 second.
Easy.
All right. So this is something that to preface this entire conversation about Ragnarok, to understand the depth of emotional attachment that we have to it. There have been numerous times where Steve and I here were drinking, and we threw on the Prontera theme, which is the music of the main city, like the main hub, and we'll tear up.
I've literally... Okay, I'm not afraid to admit this on stream.
We'll fucking tear up.
I fucking cried.
What?
I fucking cried.
Were you listening?
Did you even listen to the content?
This is why I cry!
To a fucking song that was from fucking...
The main city.
Yeah, the main city, yeah.
Are you judging me?
No, but I mean, like, when did you cry?
All right.
Like, last week?
Okay.
Not
the first time you heard it? Like...
No. Ryan will just... It usually happens when we're extremely intoxicated. At this point, it's coming towards the end.
Now we got the idea.
There you go. I've been there.
Yeah, we got the idea to do this episode because usually we get drunk and talk about this shit.
Anyway. Yeah.
And so during that, one of us says, "You know what? Fuck it." Puts on the Prontera.
The other one is always kind of like upset you did it, but happy at the same time. It's this bittersweet moment because you know you're like, the nostalgic feeling feels, but then you just want to cry, and then it just turns into depression.
Disgusting man babies.
Yeah. Yeah. This is like really what started it all for us when it comes to MMOs.
This is an MMO proper.
This is definitely a proper, and damn, did it get things right.
Yeah.
Quite a few things right.
You want to start
okay, let's just start with one of the first things that this introduced, at least for us. Okay, this is by no means the end-all, be-all. Like, you guys are talking about other games that you had experience with that we didn't have experience with. We're talking just from our grounds for us.
Yeah.
So for us, this is what started it all, and I think this is the main thing that just it made you so attached to the game. It would be the introduction of community. I think that it is the biggest factor for this.
The game we're going to talk about after this is Final Fantasy XI, but Ragnarok and FF11 both, through their gameplay and their mechanics, established a beautiful community.
And community just that it couldn't be matched. You never ever even got close to the sense of community with World of Warcraft. No. And that's saying a lot too, because I will admittedly say that World of Warcraft, although it's terrible in my opinion now, that is the greatest MMO for me, but just by leaps and bounds. But the community was lackadaisical there, I would say.
Compared to these.
In comparison.
These, and I mean, what better way to be engaged in a world than like human connection? Like, you can't beat that aesthetic experience.
I mean, here's the thing. When I'm talking about Ragnarok, I developed this family that I literally still talk to this day, that we moved on to other games.
You don't even play the same games anymore.
We don't even fucking play games anymore, a lot of us.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I still play games, but a lot of them don't. They're way older than me. They have a family. and I still keep in contact with them on Facebook. And like we moved over to World of Warcraft.
It was like 13 years ago, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, to put this in perspective, I started playing Ragnarok when not just started, but when I was, I guess, at the pinnacle, when I was at my peak performance level. I was 12.
Yeah.
I was fucking 12 years old.
Fuck.
Yeah, and my guild, we'll get into this later. I don't want to just hop over the game. We'll get over that later. So,
yeah.
I don't know, where do you want to start with this?
Well, okay. Since we seem to be on the subject of community, why don't we talk about things that games do to foster community? It was no coincidence that it had such a great community.
Well, first thing was the continuity in the game. What we were talking about earlier with Diablo.
Yeah.
Obviously, like we even admittedly said, it wasn't a true MMO. You just join in this game, and it's a brand new world that it is only yours. And
not
it gets,
seamless, but not seamless quite yet.
Not yet. We're getting there. It's just baby steps.
Yeah.
But the game only had 2 servers.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yep.
And, at least amongst the Americas.
American servers, there was 2.
And that introduced a lot, because you're not just making a game and inviting your friend, hey, come join me like you did in Diablo. You're entering a game and you know exactly where to find your friends. They'll be there at any time of the day. Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Difficulty establishes community.
Difficulty, like definitely.
Always.
If you want to get anywhere in that game, you're gonna need help.
You need friends.
You're gonna need friends. There's no way in hell to get far in that game without making friends.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about earlier with Diablo, how they, at least with the older games, they maintained this difficulty. Now they're just for all the casual noobs. They're just trying to make too many people happy. Is what I'm getting at. And with Ragnarok, they did not give a shit.
Yeah. Now, here's something interesting about Ragnarok and needing to make friends. It's not only the difficulty of the game itself, it's that when you drop into this world, the game actually doesn't tell you dick. It's like, make your character. Okay, it's made. And then you're there.
It's that stupid little introductory course you do. Remember, like that level.
If you want to take it.
If you wanted to.
And even that shit's hardly helpful.
I like that.
Because they're not going to tell you things like where you're going to build your class.
I love
where that. How do you build your class?
They don't tell you where to go get
They don't
items.
tell you where to level. They don't tell you any of that
They don't
shit.
tell you anything.
They don't tell you where or how to shop.
And let me tell you, when I first started that game, since there's no introduction, there's no guidance. The first thing I did was I walked past, and just out of curiosity, I just spammed the first zone where you're supposed to be killing and leveling, and I went into and I just got straight dunked on by some of those little desert creatures.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like, why didn't they tell me not to go here? But I actually like that, the nature of that. You just have to find out for yourself.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's part of the real problem. There are MMOs now that
to help you on where we are in a conversation, we're talking about ways games establish community.
Right. Yeah. I got that. Now, even in WoW, right? There is an introductory zone where it basically holds your hand and tells you what to do exactly. Yeah, through a quest, what to do, how to level, how to get experience in bigger chunks, how to purchase items, because there's usually a go fetch this from this guy and bring it back to me, and you have to buy it from somebody and all that stuff. I think that when MMOs, especially vanilla WoW, maybe Burning Crusade is when it kind of transitioned from. There was a market where before WoW, it was really esoteric to play an MMO, and so you didn't have the hand-holding because it was for a hardcore gaming community.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying it's bad that mainstreamers came into WoW, and obviously they needed something.
Scaffolding.
They needed it to be scaffolded. I was going to say hold their hands, but scaffolding is more fair, I think.
Yeah. And
so games beyond WoW, they had an introductory zone where you did have all of that scaffolding, whereas pre pre-WoW. Even in EverQuest, I remember EverQuest didn't do shit for you, and it was still of that type of game where it's like they throw you into the world and you just need to behave like somebody who is part of that culture.
Yeah.
And whenever you have a culture like that, where the game is built around not hand-holding, you, like you said, I think I heard you say, you have to make friends. You have to have a community. You have to be entered into a guild. You know, there's like all...
To a certain extent, I'd say. Because I'm all fine with the introductory. Like, I'm fine with the introductory as long as it stops at lower levels. And they're not catering to the people that are more casual, and they start making things easier for the casual players. That's when I have a problem.
Yeah, and part of this too, I mean, I'm not going to say this happens in a lot of games, but and I'm going to step outside the MMO realm for just a second and say that I've heard, obviously I haven't played it, but I've heard that in Final Fantasy 13 you can be 20 hours into that game and still have tutorials. And I think that games post-WoW over-tutorialize fucking everything, right?
Yeah, they did.
And in these proto-MMOs, you don't get that. And I think that Ragnarok, it sounds like, is like on that cusp where it's before WoW, and so it's still in that hardcore gaming community. But then once you step outside it, developers erased Ragnarok-esque types of games, especially like low-level experience.
Something as far as community goes that is incredible about Ragnarok that we don't see again is players creating a live active population. So now in WoW, Orgrimmar and Ironforge in the beginning, those were the cities, right? Why? Because Blizzard said so. There's no other reason. Because Blizzard put everything there. Right. So, of course, everybody's going to go there. Burning Crusade, Shattrath. Why? Because all the portals are there. Right. All the merch. Everybody's there. Wrath. What's the floating city? Dalaran. And they changed the city. Cataclysm, it goes back to Orgrimmar, but now Stormwind. Ragnarok, Prontera was chosen by the players. There's no reason why that was the main city. It could have been any of the cities, but it was Prontera.
That wasn't our city, though. At least Anonymous.
Prontera. Oh, well, yeah. Well, that's, again, we could talk about hangouts, but now we talk about anything like Guild Wars 2. We talk about WoW. Anything with these, like, just brilliantly rendered, amazing cities, right? Like, you can say what you want about Guild Wars 2, but those cities were beautiful, right? I mean, they looked fucking great.
Guild Wars 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they actually made the cities in such a way that they really encouraged you to enter into the city and learn the ins and outs because you had those viewpoints.
Yeah,
and if you had all the viewpoints, they gave you something special, you know.
So why is it that a Ragnarok city is so much more alive and vibrant than anything we see after it? It has to do with the player-based economy. That there was no auction house. If you wanted to sell things, you had to create a merchant, which was a class. You had to level up a class, be a merchant, and you sit your ass on the side of the road. And when you walk into Prontera, it's a grand bazaar of real people selling, and they're literally shouting at you, like, buy this, everybody has their shit. Now, how do you make sense of that? Like, you want to buy potions. Where do you go?
Wait, two things. Yeah. Mr. Bonashot, hello, thank you for stopping by.
What's going on?
We love to see you here. We're in the middle of crazy theory talk. Now, the other thing, which is fucking awesome, is that Guido just gave us a donation of $5. So, everybody give a round of applause to Guido. Guido is our main man. Thank you so much, buddy. And now we have to give a very rousing Get 'em Skeeter.
3, 2, 1.
Get 'em Skeeter! There we go. That's what I like to see. Thank you so much, buddy. We really appreciate the help. We're getting a new processor.
We're going to try.
We're going to try. We're going to try to get to that processor because we want to take on more... I guess strenuous
games.
Yeah, so we want to be able to do that, and Guido just put us $5 closer to that. So, dude, thanks a lot. We really appreciate it. All right.
Anyways, to comment on that, what Spike said here.
And he's also leaving. So, Guido, cheers, man, and thank you so much again.
Cheers.
Yeah, let's drink to Guido, guys. Let's cheers Guido. All right, so, boom, boom, boom. There we go.
Anyways, talk about what Spike was saying. Oh, trust us, we are getting to that point when he's talking about hardcore games wouldn't be successful in today's world.
So
we're slowly getting there.
We're talking about the Grand Bazaar, the players embracing the world as opposed to being told where to go. Where do you buy potions from merchants? You already fucking know. I mean, where do you always go? If you want a Berserk potion, you want an Awakening potion, where in Frontera?
I don't know how to describe it.
Central.
Like I know where to go.
It's Central Frontera, right? What if you want to buy a weapon? Well, there's a quarter for that. What if you want to buy dyes and aesthetic, cosmetic items? That's in the bottom left. What if you want to buy dead branches? That's in the south. You know? And the thing is, nobody designated that. It's a live economy. It started because people started, they found it was advantageous. That guy's selling weapons, I should sell weapons here too.
Yeah.
That guy's selling dye, and you created quarters, and there's no tutorial. You can't ask a guard, where do I buy a weapon? It's like you have to be familiar with the world that is run by people, not NPCs.
And it forced you also to interact with them too, because you couldn't just get kick-ass items through quests like you did in World of Warcraft.
I mean, that's the heart of
to get it from them.
That's the heart of an MMO, right? Creating a community of people.
Community, definitely.
All right, now a few talking points. So, Lil Cub says he doesn't think that games are hardcore like Ragnarok.
I just added.
Okay. I'm sorry. All right, I did. But then there's also Mr. Bonus Shot says, okay, so what is the subject line we were talking about today, gentlemen? I hope that the title still says that we're talking about MMO talk, and we've already talked about D2, which is not MMO proper, but we said it was a springboard for us as individuals.
Yes. Diablo 2.
We're talking about Diablo 2. Sorry. As you can see from this right here, we're talking about Ragnarok right now.
We're moving chronologically through MMOs.
Yeah, we're going somewhere with this.
Yeah.
So there's that.
It's really just the evolution of MMOs.
Yeah. One way to create community, economy. What we were talking about, a truly player-run economy. You had no auction house taking cuts.
Well, difficulty.
And
difficulty.
Honestly, part of it is, I mean, this is a little obvious, but guilds create community. And the thing is that
gotta talk about War of Imperium.
Oh, we were gonna get to that one.
Yeah, so the thing with guilds is that guilds are basically like you needed a guild because guilds were a way to organize raid groups. And WoW, that's how they functioned initially. Or
let's leave this for a while.
Yeah, sure. Fuck it, whatever.
Yeah. All right. Actually in Ragnarok, having a guild proper wasn't that big of a deal because you wouldn't go on raids. What you do is drop bosses, and you can do that probably with 3, 4, 5 people.
Yeah, they had to be good though.
They had to be good, but you could, if you had close friendships with people who had good gear, you can do it, and you don't need this whole fucking coordination.
I guess what we should do before getting to guilds is talk about the difficulty and why you needed a guild.
Can I get some of that service
What's that?
Can I get some of that service
Okay. Yeah, I think we touched upon this earlier, but how ridiculously difficult Ragnarok was, I gravitated towards that. It was only for hardcore players. You didn't have these casual players. They'd go in and they'd be like, yeah, this isn't okay for me. They might get to like level 20 or something, but once you broke past like level 55, 60 or something, how many hours are we talking just to get a level?
Ridiculous.
Something absurd.
You could put hours into getting 1% of your EXP.
Okay, here, put this in perspective. When I got towards my max level, which was 89 in that game, back when I played it,
the max cap was 99.
Back when I played it, the max level was 99. I would play an entire day. I'm talking. I mean, I was a kid. I had plenty of time. I'm talking.
Anything you had.
8 hours maybe playing. I would probably get like, I don't know, 3% of my level.
Guys, 2 things. Mr. Bonus Shot just gave us a follow. So 3, 2, 1.
Get him, Skater! Thanks for the follow.
Thanks, buddy.
We appreciate it.
Okay, good to have you on board. That was one thing.
I would
we have
put
a
in.
list. We have a list of things.
We have too much shit to talk about, really.
Well, good thing we're going to 11. I mean to 10. Sorry. One thing. I'm just gonna throw this in. It's gonna be real quick.
Got a lot of one things.
I've had these 3 beers. Serpent Stout's number 1.
Oh, this needs to be about Jack.
Ninkasi number 2. Kern River number 3. All right. Fuck you guys. Continue.
Okay.
Continue.
So
on the level of difficulty, forcing people to cluster together, let us cling together because it's so fucking hard.
Sorry, one more thing.
You fucking serious?
Admit says.
How many?
What is this show? Is this the real life?
What?
What?
I'm addressing it. This show is a beer talk show and an MMO talk show right now.
Yeah.
It's not usually.
We usually have gameplay.
And yes, this is real life. Continue.
This is real life.
I don't fucking know.
Let me reel that segue. Let me reel that segue back in. Speaking of difficulty, forcing people together.
I love it.
There are 2 levels of difficulty to Ragnarok Online, and there is one good level and there is one bad level of difficulty. The bad level, the grind is fucking awful. At the end of the day, like, yeah, you feel great that you're a higher level than everyone else, but god fucking damn it, like, you can't say that's a good convention. A whole day for 3% of your EXP?
That thing was fucking... That was just doing it.
Right.
That was getting home from a 9-to-5er.
That's
what that was.
not okay. That's not fucking okay.
You know what?
I need to
City... What?
We got a new follower.
Who the fuck is following us?
Can we just let a little aggregate go before we do this now? From now on?
No, because you...
Ruined the country.
Who's following us, Jack?
Officer Bellick.
Thanks, Officer Bellick. 3, 2, 1. Get him! Thank you. Seriously, thank you. But Jack,
these guys hate you. I love you. Fuck them.
I know, we just hate this guy right now.
One more thing. I'm the moderator, guys.
Have you guys seen this beer?
You designated me to be the moderator.
Have you seen this fucking beer? Wait, I wanted to mention this about City Poo. Remember? Okay, anyway.
Good lord.
Because I'm telling you about what happened at level 88. Okay, that was absurd already. I'd play an entire fucking day and I get like 2%, 3%. And here's the thing I didn't mention. If you died in that game, you lost the whole percent.
Whole percent?
Well, that doesn't sound like the end of the world. Let me tell you, it was the end of the fucking world when you're at level 98. Okay, City Poo would play. He's at level 98. You have to go, obviously, from 1 or 0% to 100%. Yeah, makes sense. You level on. He would play a whole fucking week. Like a 9-to-5 job, basically. And he would get, like, what, 2%? Some absurd?
It was ridiculous. The amount of EXP that you need to get from level 97 to 99 was greater than the amount that you needed from 1 to 97.
Yeah, that was insanity.
That's a lot of fucking EXP.
I couldn't even fathom that thought because getting from level 1 to 89 took so much fucking time.
Yeah.
So much time.
And you need more EXP just for that last level.
Oh my god, that hardcore factor. When you died, they would literally be depressed for about 2 days. Because he put in a solid week of getting this 1.5%, 2%, something stupid like that. So when you actually got max level in that game, it meant something. That's why they gave you that fucking aura, that glow, this teal glow, just making you look righteous as all hell. And
it was like because when you clicked on someone in this game, you couldn't see their level.
Yeah,
you actually couldn't click on people.
I actually liked that.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. It was
like
cool.
This cool like Cloak and Dagger exclusive club of level 99 people who would turn their aura off and be like, I don't know, They wouldn't ever tell you their level. You say, what level are you? 90 plus.
And the thing is, in this game, you couldn't really see items. You could see some superficial items in terms of just the hats. That's it. Also, when they drew out their weapons, you could see what weapon they were wielding. But aside from that, you couldn't tell what the fuck they were wearing.
And you could see what weapon type they were wielding.
Yeah,
meaning
weapon type.
All the swords look the same. All the spears look the same.
Although okay.
Yeah.
And this added another element to the game that made it just so awesome because it was almost like a game of poker. When you're out there and you're in a PvP environment, unless you knew the person's name or you knew of his reputation, you would look him up, you'd size him up, but there's not really anything you could do. You would just see like, I don't know. I think I might be able to take him maybe just because of the class he happens to be. Aside from that, you don't know what the fuck.
You don't know what equipment they have. You don't know what they're spec'd for.
So of course, it was an obvious advantage for someone who's level 99 to turn off their aura in a PvP environment because it was a bait.
Yeah.
People would come up to him and they'd be like, "Oh, someone just made a big mistake."
So the good and bad of leveling, that was the bad. That grind, making it difficult to level up, I think that's a good practice to differentiate player bases, but that's too much.
We getting trolled?
Yeah, we're getting trolled.
We're getting trolled on?
I'm not interrupting you guys. No, fuck you, it's too late. Yeah. So Admit says, where do you guys live? Because your craft beer doesn't look as godlike as Detroit.
We getting trolled on, Doug?
And I said Detroit is good because you have Founders and you have Bells. And I said that we have Alpine, Russian River, and Lost Abbey, and Firestone Walker, and Ballast Point.
Yeah.
And
you're gonna defend Ballast Point now?
People fucking love Ballast Point for some goddamn reason. We have Alesmith. We have Hess.
I can get behind Alesmith.
We have Green Flash. We have all of the good beer. Michigan has good beer too. And yes. Detroit does sell Bells and Founders because Bells is in Kalamazoo and Founders is in...
We getting trolled on? I can't tell if
is in whatever.
We getting rickrolled?
We're getting rickrolled.
We getting rickrolled on?
We're getting rickrolled! I'm on it! Don't worry!
The good difficulty in leveling is that...
What it established?
Well, you don't know how to level your class.
Mm-hmm.
Like leveling, every time you level up, you have to think. And how do I want to spend these fucking skill points?
And then that's the other thing.
You can't re-roll.
We touched upon where... there was that mysterious nature behind everything, and since you couldn't see their items, you couldn't see
mystery.
You couldn't tell what the fuck they were skilled into.
Fucking magic,
which is really nice because at first you kind of want to know what people are skilled into because in World of Warcraft when they brought that whole armory thing up, it's kind of cool at first, but then you realize it did more.
You can creep on people.
It did more bad than good, because that's the thing about MMOs. It's setting yourself apart. And you can have those esoteric builds that people didn't know about. Good luck keeping that down low in World of Warcraft. That shit was...
And one of the other cool...
Everybody knew your talents, right?
Yeah, they introduced that in the armory.
Yeah. What was cool with Ragnarok is that there was actually variance in builds.
Yeah.
Like, not every competitive monk, say, was spec'd the same. Not every competitive knight was the same.
And that's the hard thing when A, you have something like Armory, which shows your skills, but B, when you're limited to about 60 unique skills, right? Because each tier that you can have for any respective class only has about 20, that's probably being a bit generous, but 20 individual skills, but there are some bullshit skills which you don't.
Yeah, they're throwaway. You throw them away.
And then that's the other thing that added into that was not just having to choose a build in terms of your skills, but you had to choose a build in terms of your stats.
Your gear.
Your stats was a big deal. That was probably the biggest deal. Yeah. Where you go towards strength. Do I go towards agility? Do I go towards dexterity?
Yeah, you could have a monk, and if you put all your shit into strength, then you can be like a combo.
It was a whole
strength and agility.
Right. There's
I was strength and intelligence.
Yeah.
And you can be Asura, right? And there's so many, and they're all competitive.
Yeah. So you get these different skills, but aside from just that, is going into where you're allocating your points. Yeah. That made a big difference, obviously.
And then another thing that happens with the guilds is you have a knowledge base.
Yeah.
You can ask your guild mates, how do I build my class? What does that fucker have? Because he rocks. And he's like, and that fucker doesn't share information. He's like, this stays in the guild. You don't fucking share my stats,
seriously,
my skills with anyone. That shit's copyrighted. You can't have it. It's a really big deal to know. It's a skill.
There's like a form of encryption in that shit when you're passing it along.
It's a really big deal. You can't just run around Frontera asking, how do I build my class?
Yeah, and this all reverts back to that hardcore nature of it.
And it's funny because your first character is always going to fucking suck.
Yeah, you get tossed out.
People.
You get tossed out in this fucking world that not just where there's this lack of information, but it's so fucking difficult that if you try to stay on your own, you're not going to get anywhere in that fucking game. I'd argue that anyone that didn't join a guild by the time they're 50, probably 90% of them just quit.
Oh, yeah.
Game was just too difficult.
I doubt you could even get to 50 without fucking quitting, not talking with anyone.
And I have a great story. I don't know if it's appropriate now. I'm going to get to it about flares.
Oh, God.
It might be appropriate now. Because we're talking about how you couldn't get these builds. They cherished them. It's what made them.
Information was a commodity.
It really was. Okay, so there's this guy who I will put this down. He is the greatest Ragnarok player of all time.
Vit Knight.
The greatest. Anyway, this guy was godly. He was otherworldly. He could just kill bosses on his own. And somehow, like, I ended up getting on his good side. We ended up becoming pretty good buddies. And this is on my first character. And he actually gave me the information. He told me about his build and what he spec'd into. He didn't want to give me everything because you don't want to give anyone everything. But he strongly hinted towards which way I should go. Yeah. And I went and I reestablished my character. I started from scratch. And man, that took some balls because I was already at level 56 or something like that.
Was that Starbucks coffee?
Yeah, Starbucks coffee. My first night. He was in an agility-based two-handed knight. It was the conventional build. The conventional build that everyone went to because it was the most fun. Who doesn't want to see this character who's just swinging, seeing big numbers?
The AGI crit.
You were a glass cannon. You were a glass cannon, essentially. You dodged all attacks, but when you got hit, it hurt bad. Anyway, so it wasn't too good for PvP, because if you got hit, you're going down
If you have the right
fast.
gear, you're gonna get hit, too.
Right. So he told me the backbone to any successful build, in terms of PvP, needed vitality. Yeah. And I went down that route.
He Rocky Balboa'd you.
He did.
How many hits you could take.
He really did. And I went down that route. Obviously, I couldn't get... I could never get to the level that Flares was at because he had two of these cards that you put into your weapons cards. That were, like 0.0001% drop. Something stupid. I think there was literally like 2 drops.
Yeah. In they're boss cards.
There were like 2 drops in documented history.
We can't, okay, we'll put it that way. There were 2 drops in documented history. I was like, there is no analogy to another MMO like that.
Yeah.
Those cards just...
Kevin says he totally forgot Starbucks
coffee. Yeah, it was him and this guy that was the leader of Gods of War. I can't remember. Anyway, there was just 2 people that had these cards, and not just. We're talking about one of the cards. This card, essentially, what it did is you could never miss.
Yeah, Kevin just said that.
Yeah. You could never miss. Okay,
that's a god card,
and that goes a long way because you would have to meet this basal requirement to at least be effective in PvP, where you'd have to allocate your points towards dexterity. And for him, he put 0. So he starts the game and he had 1 in dexterity. He never put a single fucking point in there from there on out.
So you could put it into other stuff.
So he put it into other stuff. And the other card, I can't remember from the top of my head. It was something that was also godly. But anyway, it established him as a fucking god. People knew of him. Like, you could just say the word Flares. He knew he was going to be such a god, such a boss, that he didn't even just name... Okay, his name was Flares, but the asshole his L was just a capital I to throw people off, so it was like Fieres.
Nobody could PM him.
Fieres, so nobody could PM him.
Nobody could fucking
You had to, like, know someone, like, hey, man, why can't I message him? It's a capital I.
It's a capital I.
It's just a capital I. Just send him a message.
Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Information's a commodity, man.
It really was.
There's a code
and
to
I
it.
miss games like that.
Yeah.
We're never going to get them again.
Yeah, and it was awesome because you had to establish that trust with him. Mm-hmm. And then I'm still friends with the guy. I'm still friends with him on Facebook. The guy got married like last year. He lives in Australia. Yeah. He's doing well.
He's doing well.
Yeah, he's doing well.
Flares is doing well.
Yeah, Flares is doing all right. Yeah, he's got a kid. He's got a wife.
It's been 15 years.
His Flares days are behind him now, but man, you see a game like that.
What is this?
A game like that where we could...
The rest is for you.
His legend lives on.
It does.
Amongst the people that played that game.
And oral history.
And that could only happen. That can only happen in a game that is as hardcore as Ragnarok was. Because even in World of Warcraft, you could be extremely skilled, just above everyone else. You can never get to that point because it wasn't as hardcore in nature.
This seems like a logical conclusion.
Well,
we ought to move on because we're at 8:30.
Shit.
Well, one last point that I'll say about the community, and it's like, because we didn't even get to talk about the class system, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Say what you want about weeaboos. They are nice people. They are nice. It's a great community.
Garborg, what's up? Thanks for stopping by.
Not leave this
Garborg.
So I think that we're willing to push past 10 because we got a lot to say about this.
Okay.
Well, let's
continue though.
Yeah.
Let's continue.
We can't move on without mentioning
because if we spent an hour on Diablo 2, imagine how long we're going to talk about World of Warcraft.
Fuck, that's a good point. Okay,
I want to talk about. I want to talk about this in Final Fantasy more than WoW.
Let's talk about Final Fantasy 11 now. Let's try to contain it to a half hour.
We can't yet. We got to cover
All right,
one last
fine,
thing.
go.
One last thing.
Go. Are you talking about the original Ragnarok Online?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Here's the last thing we got to mention, just because what it was for the game, and no one else really. It's kind of weird.
One second.
So, the last thing I want to mention is something that was unique to Ragnarok. I won't go as far to say as it never came up in another game because obviously I haven't played every fucking MMO. But in terms of the MMOs we're going to cover, this is something that was lacking. You would have thought they would have adopted this. They didn't really.
Territory.
Yeah, territory. So here's
Stomping
the thing.
grounds.
Here's the thing. War of Imperium was this thing, was it every Sunday night, I believe? It was Sunday evening.
Yeah.
Every Sunday evening, there was it was an hour and a half, something of that sort. Anyway, what it was, I remember when they first introduced this, because up until this point, there wasn't anything that really necessitated a guild.
Yeah.
There really wasn't. But now with War of Imperium, you couldn't even enter War of Imperium. Well, you could, but you'd get stomped on, right? If you didn't have a guild.
You know what? This is getting confusing. Let's explain what War of Imperium is.
Okay, go ahead.
War of Imperium is a mechanic that they implemented in which there were 5 strongholds outside every major city. And the thing is, these strongholds were up for grabs for guilds. And they started out empty at first, and they put bosses and mobs in them, and a guild would have to raid it. And then once they destroy the Imperium, which is in the middle, they own that castle, and their guild banner gets posted in the front of the castle and inside the major city.
Right.
So every time walking around, you'd go to the center of the city, and you could see flags and banners, and so you knew which guilds owned what in that territory.
Yeah, and you owned it for a week. And it would reopen on that Sunday.
You gotta fight for it every week.
And the awesome thing about this is it further established community because you would form these cliques amongst the guilds. The best guilds would pair up. They'd form allies. So they would have their back. They would let them know, okay, you know what, we're going to defend this one and this one because, you know, they have the best territory. Strategically, they're the best place. So they went for those 2 castles and they'd maintain them. And anytime there'd be an attack, they would zone into the other place and back them up, which was really awesome. So the best guilds were pairing up with the best guilds, and it made this rivalry. So my guild, Anonymous, paired up with
Wild Blades.
No. Damn, it was Etrigan, I believe.
That was the name of the guy, though. That wasn't the name of the guild.
Dude, it's been so long I can't remember. Visage. We paired up with one of... And, anyway... What it did was it established this meetup for the community weekly. So everyone knew about it. Everyone looked forward to this. It was like the highlight of the week. And even if you weren't involved in it, people still, they gathered outside and it was just, they would talk about it. Did you hear this? Did you hear about this? Wild Blades just, overtook Gods of War. They just overtook them. Like, no fucking way. I thought Gods of War would never be taken.
Yeah.
And then you'd see the banner just change. And you'd see Wild Blade's banner there.
More
and you would
legends.
see them. They're controlling like 3 different territories.
3 different, yeah.
And you're just badass. Like, holy fuck. Just what that did for that game was awesome. And there was never any other game. Like, I would go as... I mean, Arena was a nice touch when they implemented that with World of Warcraft. It was a nice touch.
Oh, and WoW.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great touch.
It was a very nice touch.
Yeah.
But this, I guess, setting a schedule and being able to hang with Pride, who owns the castle, giving you this territory.
Players,
and also you got buffs from this too. You got like 10%, like 5% better bonuses and stuff like
players interacting with the world.
Right.
Is something that doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
It's all in the last zone. Everybody's compartmentalized. Everybody's in a cubicle in their own experience,
Mm-hmm.
you know? You can't affect the world in any way. And actually, this has become a trend now. They just added this in WoW, and they added it in Star Wars The Old Republic. Things like strongholds, things like your own spaceship. Something that's disconnected from the entire world. And you can decorate your room how you want. You can invite your friends, but it's like... Who cares? Everybody has one. It's like your fucking MySpace page. It's like you put up all your fucking pictures and you can hang out in there by yourself and you say, this place is mine.
Yeah.
but it's floating somewhere in the ether. It's not part of the world. It's disconnected. It's like there's character select screen, your room, world. It's pulled out.
Yeah.
You know, what's the point?
Mm-hmm. I just remember those memories from War of Imperium. Because of the importance of it, if you did have a castle, they treated that shit like a job. If it was 7 p.m. or whatever it was on a Sunday and you weren't there, those are grounds for you to get kicked from that guild. So you'd be in the Imperium room, and there'd just be like 30, 40 of you guys, and there'd be rumors. You guys hear? We're supposed to be attacked today by Wildblades. They're supposed to be making an attack around, like, this secret information. It would be leaked out, and it was just it was such an awesome element for it. I remember hearing and everyone would be on their toes, like, oh, today's the big day, and then you see the first person get ported in, and your whole guild's just in there, the wizards, whatnot, just storming all hell on them when they enter that room. Oh, it was awesome.
If this is definitely a topic we need to come back to if we get to WoW or Tor. Connecting players with the worlds through territory, through building your own strongholds, through fortresses, whatever you want to call it, is something that needs to make a comeback very badly.
Yeah. And on finishing notes, I want to go off about how I was a little kid nerd.
Yeah.
That was funny.
12-year-old ass.
Yeah. It's funny mentioning it, but we already talked about it earlier. How I was fucking 12 years old at this time when I was playing Ragnarok, and Bear will even tell you, I was a fucking nerd. My character was far better than his character, any character that we knew of someone in real life. He was just, I put a lot of fucking time into that character. Anyway, the guild, I guess, like our sister guild, the one that we paired up with, Visage, they absorbed Anonymous when we all decided to hang it up. And I got the invite. It was pretty exclusive. Not everyone got an invite to that guild. I got the invite to that. I got the go-ahead. Anyways, Visage ended up going to the championships in South Korea. I remember when they asked me, I had a stupid-ass name, but I was a 12-year-old, so, I mean, it's only appropriate. My name was Tony Montana, so everyone called me Tony. And I remember them just telling me, Tony, so, you know, the tournament's coming up soon. It's coming up in 2 months. You're going to be able to make it out? And I remember someone answered for me. Someone from Anonymous goes, He's fucking 12.
12 years old.
He can't fucking go to South Korea on his own. His family's not gonna let him. And I told him, I was like, yeah, guys, I'd really like to go out, but I'm 12. I'm a fucking kid. I can't go out there. I can't go to South Korea. I can't just get on a fucking flight out there on my own. And I asked my parents. I remember as a 12-year-old, I go over to them. I'm like, hey, Mom, hey, Dad. I know you guys don't know about that game I play or anything, but I'm really good at it. My friends in the guild, I know that sounds fucking weird to you because you can't even fathom that idea. They can't even relate. I was like, yeah, my friends in the internet world, they want me to go play. And they're like, what? What do you mean they want you to play? Like, they want you to play on your computer? No. They want me to meet them up in South Korea. It's a big game that the boys need me. Everyone needs me.
Everyone needs me.
I gotta be there. I gotta be out there for the guys. And I remember how funny I was trying to explain that for them. They're like, yep. Just go to your fucking room, Steven.
Yeah, get
to your fucking room. Get out of here.
Play with the dog.
Yeah. Anyway, they ended up placing well. They ended up taking second place overall. They lost to a South Korean guild.
So while we can, before Jack gets back here.
What? Yeah.
Brilliant class system.
Yeah.
But branching class system. Awesome. Base classes into 2 new classes.
And what they implemented towards the end, I guess we weren't really there for that as much. So
Transcendence.
The Transcendence classes. But
if you ever hit 99, which we talked about how easy that was, you get to start over at level 1 again, but you get a fucking god class. It's like,
oh my god!
And those classes take even longer to level.
Can you imagine
than the original?
The courage it took to actually like hit that reset button when you go in that Transcendence class.
I'd hit that shit the second I got it.
Fuck. Well, it reinvigorates the game for you. That
it wasn't
yearning to advance.
It wasn't Anthony.
Who was it?
I don't know. I just know it wasn't Anthony.
Okay. So I guess it's appropriate time now to transition now.
The quick closing notes that we're giving. So things that it did well: world immersion, community.
Community was the biggest. That hardcore feeling.
Yeah. downfalls that it brought to the shit it brought to the MMO genre. I mean, this is the quintessential Korean grinder. Every game that has come out of fucking Korea since
tedious as all hell. Moonday, it just wasn't a great experience to level.
Not actually a great combat system either.
No. It was the hardcore aspect that made up for that, I think.
Inherently wasn't that great, but...
Yeah, it really wasn't.
So, that's the mixed bag of Ragnarok Online.
All right.
Brace yourselves for this next one. Because it's my heart.
Yeah, we get emotional for Ragnarok.
It's my fucking heart.
But we also get fucking emotional for Final Fantasy 11.
Final Fantasy 11, kids.
Final Fantasy.
You know it. You almost certainly love it. And this is the thing. So I never played Final Fantasy 11 because, again, I didn't have the hardware that would allow me to do it. But the thing is I know that 11 marks the downfall of the Final Fantasy franchise. Some people say it's 12. Some people say it's 10. But it's somewhere in this, right?
You watch.
It's not fucking fair to say that. Because this is not...
Well, no, Final Fantasy 11 is like not... It's not hard canon.
It's not... It's not within that continuity. It's not doing something that the previous one-player games are doing. This is a different, It's something different altogether. It's like Dissidia, Final Fantasy Dissidia.
Hey, Popo's here.
Yes, Dissidia, the fighting game. Yeah. It's like that. It's just something completely fucking different.
Yeah, like you can't Dirge Cerberus or Crack.
Yeah, you can't put it in the same category.
Yeah.
I'd like to comment on that because I never. This is gonna sound as heresy probably, but I never played any of the Final Fantasies other than this.
Wow.
And so I have an objective stance on it in terms of just as an MMO.
Yeah.
And for me, in the MMO world, it met that criteria and it did it very fucking well.
Big Big Trouble says Final Fantasy 11 had the Final Fantasy name and then the aesthetic, but that was about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it took the class system.
Oh, now Hello Boo's gonna fight with you and say FF11 was half baked and half assed.
Well, we're going to talk about it for a while, so you have probably a whole 40 minutes to realize you're wrong.
That's how we treat our viewers.
So I guess let's talk about what
they took the combat system from Final Fantasy V, which is No, that's mine.
I'm just a tiny bit. I'm blending it with this. Because this has melodies in it too.
That seems delicious.
Let's talk about what it built off of. Getting back to the tracks of MMOs.
World immersion is the concept.
So much love, Vexy says. So much love.
World immersion is the concept that we're talking about in Final Fantasy XI. And we just talked about how great the community was in Ragnarok. This shit took it to the next level.
Mm-hmm. And what we also mentioned about Ragnarok is it built off that and it established more continuity in transitioning from zone to zone. From obviously it was a huge step from Diablo, but this really solidified that.
Again, not seamless yet.
Not seamless, yeah.
However,
it's a larger step, that's for certain.
Walking up to the zone change, you can look off into the vast distance, meaning when you walk through a zone, there is an implied 50 miles that you walk between each zone. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But you can see it. It's visual. You're crossing that until you get to a new geographical location.
3 comments. One is from Cub. Final Fantasy XI had the best battle system idea and the worst execution. Hello Blue says, it's all good. I won't talk EQ because you guys were noobs.
Yeah, that's probably deserved.
And then Garborg says, fishing for gold thingies for 6 months equals Final Fantasy XI.
If you're playing it wrong.
And then also, Spooky Donkey 420 says, Bill has joined the server.
Ow! What's up, Bill?
What up, Bill?
What's going on?
I never fished for gold thingies.
I didn't either.
I did not do that.
I did not do that.
I don't know what Cub is saying about having the best battle system because that's a major critique of the
Please elaborate, Cub. I know that Bear is vehemently against this idea.
Yeah, as am I.
But then also, Garborg and Admit is here again. Why have you guys not followed us? Do you not like us?
So
I think we're pretty sexy.
Yeah, you sound needy.
You follow us.
Yeah, you sound needy. They're gonna fucking leave.
If they leave, so be it. All right, so fucking be it.
Yeah.
So yeah, talking about the combat system. Actually, that was gonna be one of the, I guess,
Probably the last things.
that was gonna be one of the derived characteristics for World of Warcraft for us, because World of Warcraft, what it did and what it built upon, what it, I guess, did that Final Fantasy didn't, was that combat system. It sucked to me.
If it had a better combat system, I wouldn't have left.
Yeah.
I mean, there would be
exactly.
no fucking reason to. I was seduced by the WoW.
Exactly.
With her pretty words and
That's
combat system.
All right. So, Cub says, the idea was good. Skill chains, magic bursts, Thief's SATA, or SATA. But waiting a minute between each attack was horrible.
So the high tier of the combat was...
And then Garborg
deep,
says
at least.
FF11's team combo was kind of a new thing when it came out.
And that's what he's talking about, skill chain.
Yeah.
And magic
Oh, it was a nice
bursting.
touch. I did like that.
But that shit is upper division combat. And the problem is, while those things are nice, if your base combat is not good.
And 2-hour cooldowns is what Lil Cub brings up.
What's wrong with... Is that good or bad?
I mean,
it's just kind of a thing.
I mean, popping 2 hours. The cooldown was 2 hours. That shit made and broke a fight, is what he said.
It absolutely did.
I enjoy that, though.
Yeah, that worked.
That's going right back to that hardcore talk where...
Well, there you go.
It was serious business when you popped a 2 hour.
Yeah.
It would save. It
Just
would
like
save
in World
your
of
party.
Warcraft when you had the hour and then they fucking reduced it to like 20 minutes.
Yeah, lay on hands.
So
yeah, retaliation.
Ryan Zerback asks us, what are our favorite games ever?
That isn't that easy of a question to answer.
I usually have that like.
You have it online. Well, you love ranking.
I love ranking.
You always loved ranking.
Yeah, I like ranking a lot.
For me, I think it'd be a disservice if I didn't say it, just because the amount of time I put in that game, the just enjoyment it gave me. It's World of Warcraft for me.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's my third favorite. For me, number 1, Final Fantasy 9.
Yeah.
Number 2, well, no, number 2 is probably World of Warcraft. The number 3 is Diablo 2.
That's odd because none of those games give me that nostalgic feeling unless there was a strong community.
I'm sorry. I can't believe I just said
Morrowind?
that. Yeah, Morrowind. Morrowind is my number 1.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 9 is my number 2. World of Warcraft is my number 3. And Diablo 2 is my number 4.
Okay.
Yeah, Morrowind is number 1, always will be. Always
This
has.
one is definitely in my top something. Some Final Fantasy.
And Bill says, the days of sitting in the fucking office with me ranking games was the best. So some people like it. It's just not your cup of tea. I'm a ranker.
I enjoy rankings as
Yeah,
well.
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, you're very scientifically minded.
That's
because he's smart.
Look, I just read a whole book by Carl Sagan. Okay.
You're really smart, dog. Oh, buddy. How about Evolved or Minecraft or GTA 5? Those are his top 3. So Ryan Zerback, or I'm just gonna say Ryan. Ryan likes Evolved, Minecraft, and GTA 5. I'm gonna go down those games. Evolved I've never played.
What is Evolved?
It's a new game.
Isn't that just called
Isn't it Evolve?
Or Evolve? Yeah.
So maybe
sure,
Evolved
yeah.
might be different. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe Evolved. I don't know, but I've not played that game. Minecraft, I really like the concept. I really hate the practice. And with GTA 5, I think GTA 5 was, in some ways, the best GTA, and in some ways, the worst GTA.
I like both the concept and execution of Minecraft. I actually think the execution's even better than the concept. You have people doing things that the developers can't even fucking fathom, like on their own engine.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, I really, 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 really love certain aspects of the Minecraft gameplay. I like that, again, like Ragnarok doesn't hold your hand and tell you what to do, and therefore the world is basically your oyster or canvas, depending on which metaphor you like.
Let's get a 3
We got a new follow?
Yeah, we got a new follower. Ryan Zerbeck just said, I follow you guys. You seem cool. Thank you for that compliment.
Thank you, sir.
Let's get it. A 3,
2, 1.
Get him, Skeeter!
Thank you so much for the follow.
Thanks for the follow, buddy.
The latest Skeeter.
We hope that you have a good time with us.
Yeah.
And just know that some of the things we say aren't serious and that most of the time we're drunk.
Yep. We'll give him a little.
But not Twitch if you're watching.
But Twitch and say we're not drunk.
We're stone sober.
Also, Popo, what's up, buddy? It's about time you came back.
Anyway, I want to talk about my fucking game here.
You talk about it, buddy.
Well, I wanted to mention in the new followers because I don't think we've actually spoke about it. Any of the new followers that are still in here, this isn't usually what we'd be doing.
Yeah, we usually have gameplay.
Yeah. We just felt like this merited an entire
talk show
segment for it,
yeah.
but
and quite frankly, it's turning out that even 3 hours isn't enough.
Yeah, seriously, I think this should be like a 2-parter.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually on Wednesdays, you guys would be doing a review on a beer and then a let's play, right?
Yeah.
Of
talking, hamming it up with the fans.
Yeah.
Any shit. Everything that we said about Ragnarok, carry it over to Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Except War of Imperium. That's not something that translates.
PvP as well.
PvP.
I won't even say that Ragnarok had a strong PvP system,
no,
but they had a PvP
still
system.
Better. Yeah.
But War of Imperium.
What we're carrying over is world immersion, community, aesthetic. These are all. Oh, and the lack of
Garborg. Did we get Garborg already?
Yeah.
Okay, we had another follower, and this is kind of sad because we didn't even.
No. He says. Garborg says, I'll follow you.
Oh, shit.
I'll follow you if you do not recognize it at all. We won't.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just...
We will, but we won't.
Yeah. We'll talk about it later.
We'll know.
Yeah,
I don't even know what you're talking about, actually.
Anyways, get back to what you're saying.
And that last thing, a lack of scaffolding. This was another game where you had to get to know people where you're just thrown in.
Definitely lack of scaffolding there.
But world immersion in this game was fantastic to a level that we don't see in any other game.
Yes, yeah. And the need to interact in this game, you literally could not get around in this game by any effective means if you did not interact with other players. Because what we were talking about with Ragnarok...
Can't travel alone.
The nature of Ragnarok didn't actually require you to interact. Yeah, you'd have a terrible fucking time if you didn't do it, and you'd be there for years. Probably is the time it would take someone to get in like a month or two, whatever, if they actually interact with other people. But in this game, what is it? It's like level 1 through 15, maybe 10 usually, but 15, I guess you could push it. You could solo there, and it's nice because, you're working out the grounds of it. You're figuring it out. But from that point on,
you have to party.
You had to fucking party.
You got to party.
You got to party. Let me tell you, I know how to fucking party. Anyway.
LFG!
So yeah, can I add something?
Sure.
All right. So Ryan, who just followed us, has a request.
Of course.
Ryan asks, "What are your 3 least favorite games?"
Oh fuck.
I think that's harder than
that is a more difficult question. That poses
something talked about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think about that usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing with games. If it's a really shitty game, I won't play it for more than like 5 minutes. I mean, an hour maybe if I was extremely bored. Which is kind of funny because like in school you remember your best professors and your worst professors. Reason being is you actually have to sit through an entire fucking course with that worst professor.
You have to be with that person.
If you have a fucking terrible game, you're like, I'm gonna go and play a game I like. So I don't know.
Top 3 worst games.
Mr. Popo is trolling us. Oh wait, never mind. I thought Mr. Popo said my least favorite games are Metal Gear Solid, Skyrim, and Tenchu.
Nice.
He did say that his favorites. His favorites are Solid, Skyrim, and Tenchu.
I could agree with one of those.
X-Men Wolverine.
Metal Gear Solid. Yep.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid. We love that game. That's in my top 5. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's funny. I couldn't really get behind it in terms of playing it, but I respect the hell out of it. I would rank it up there as one of my favorite games.
You weren't introduced into the stealth game.
Right, exactly.
Now you understand.
Exactly.
In terms
you know what I actually want to mention? Because we're talking about a lot of older games as our favorites, and that could be for a multitude of reasons, but I think one that warrants some discussion for a recent game, because I think it's very hard for a game to enter into that classic realm now, would be The Last of Us for me. That's the last game that... the last game. that really left an impact for me, because that game did a lot of things right. Well, we should talk about it a different time, but that's definitely one of my recent favorites.
I actually know. I think I know what some of my least favorite games are. One of them is Fable 1. Fable 1 is a complete shit pile. Another game that I really hate is I had it on the tip of my tongue. Well, even though I don't hate the mechanics, a game that I seriously hate is Final Fantasy X-2. And another game that I really hate is probably Assassin's Creed 1. I hate Assassin's Creed 1.
It's not very good.
It is a pile of shit. But there are some really good things, and the really good things make it shitty. Like, there's a nugget of good in there, and it makes you really pissed when it doesn't live up to it. So, I said Assassin's Creed 1, Final Fantasy X-2, and the first one I said was... What was the first one I said?
Fable?
Fable. Yeah, Fable 1.
Okay, I'm going to be that asshole manager that gets everyone back to the task at hand. Just because
hold on. Vexy says, Jack, don't you dislike Dark Souls? I actually really like Dark Souls. That's fair that it's like Dark Souls. I really fucking don't like Dark Souls 2.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy Dark Souls 1.
I think that franchise is garbage.
Yeah, and I'll agree with that. I'll get behind it.
It's fucking trash.
Yeah.
We should throw it away.
Alright, so let's get back.
Yeah,
I know you're trying to wrangle it.
Just we have so much.
There's fan service, just like Final Fantasy X too.
We haven't even got to World of Warcraft. Okay.
No.
So
world immersion, I think, is what we're talking about, and that's probably what we're going to talk about the whole time with Final Fantasy XI. Now, usually in a game, you have races that are connected to capitals. If you play as an orc, you're starting in Orgrimmar. If you start as a troll, you're in Orgrimmar. If you start as undead, you're in the Undercity.
Right.
That's how games and factions work.
Right.
Now, in Final Fantasy XI, you can choose your race. You can go to whatever city you want. Now, that seems confusing at first, because the cities, like Sandoria, is an elven city, and it needs to be inhabited by elves. Bastok is the human city. Windurst is the...
spent like no fucking time in Bastok.
Yeah, Taru city, right?
Yeah.
Tarus.
And so, how do you both give the player the freedom to choose what nationality they want to have as opposed to race, while also keeping in line with your lore of the world? And they did it. All they did was a stupid fucking ring, the signet ring. If you make an elf in Sandoria, you get a signet ring plus 2 dex. If you make a human in Bastok, you get the signet ring, which gives them their weakest stat buffed.
Right.
And it goes the same way. So it turns out that most players who play elves are from Sandoria. Turns out that most Taru from Winders. Turns out.
Sorry.
This is just something. It's just something that happened with people embracing the world. Now, as you're coming up in this world, as we talked about with...
Turns out we have a new follower.
God, there's a new follower.
Garboard.
What? Hey, hon. Didn't he say ignore it?
We're supposed to recognize that. It's supposed to be
not
covert.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry.
Hey, we don't have a new follower.
We don't have a new follower. No, fuck that. We don't have
back to it.
It's not Garborg. Definitely not.
Traveling is something that... This didn't even happen in Ragnarok. Traveling was a fucking ordeal in Final Fantasy. You remember how long it took to take the boat?
Yeah. I love that about
from
it.
Selbina all the way around to Winders.
Journey.
Yeah.
You were in for that fucking journey.
That was 15 minutes real time on a boat.
And then what about when you actually got those random encounters?
On the boat, yeah. You might not make it if you sail.
Oh, fucking gonna die on the boat. I don't know if it's safe there.
You don't fucking know. You don't fucking know.
I'm about to get Moby Dicked.
It takes a long time. It takes hours to cross the world.
You know you chase that white whale.
You can't do it alone. You get yourself in fucking trouble.
Yeah, and you know what? This also goes back to it, because I think this is a new element that we're about to discuss here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I shouldn't say that, because Diablo didn't have endgame, but you didn't really give a shit too much about certain tiers of leveling, I guess. Mm-hmm. And certainly not in Ragnarok. You didn't give a fuck about it. You kind of just wanted to attain a higher level so you'd be better. You'd be superior to other players. The thing about this game and what it did so much better than World of Warcraft is...
or any MMO.
Any MMO to date that I've played, at least, is immediately you enjoyed the hell out of that game. And you didn't actually feel this need to level. You didn't. I mean, obviously you want to level. That's the point of the game. But you didn't need this. You didn't feel this requirement to reach maximum level to enjoy the game.
I played that game. Didn't hit max level.
You never even got that close, right?
Nope.
And there's so many elements or factors rather that created that.
There were major, significant goals that you can reach about every 5 levels. And goals that fucking mattered.
The other thing is. What? Shit!
Hello says, or what happened to us occasionally? Fall through the boat! Oh yeah, you drown because nobody knows how to swim.
I never felt that.
That happened to me. That fucking sucks.
Apparently that happened to Hello Blue.
I'm sorry,
Hello. Too many times.
Does that happen?
I'm sorry, Blue.
Oh my god!
Jeez, I've heard tales.
And then Real Mr. Popo says, Diablo 2 is awesome. Secret cow level for the win.
Secret cow. We talked about the
You were not here for that.
Oh,
you were not here. These guys hate the cow level.
I hated those fucking cows, man. At the same time, I loved them. But that's
No.
You know what's one of those things, though? You can't really...
You hate them.
I love them at the time, but in hindsight, you hate them.
Well, actually, you know, I hate the cows in D3. I fucking hate the cows.
I fucking hate D3.
I hate D3 too, yeah. D3 can lick my taint. My grunt.
They lick my butt.
My fleshy flesh bridge.
That can lick my butt. Anyway.
My fleshy fun bridge, rather.
So, getting back to it,
traveling.
Traveling. I was about to go on a tangent. I think I was about to talk about...
Get tangential.
Do you want me to?
Yeah.
Okay. So another factor, and I never saw this in any other game, was, let's say you're playing Diablo, okay? You start the game, you play the entire game as a barbarian. Then you get a little bit of curiosity. You know what? I'm going to play as an Amazon. Let me test those guys. Let me make another character, which is an insignificant character. You don't have this nostalgic feeling. You don't have this character development that you've built upon for years. Because,
when you're RPing in your head.
Yeah. So, in Final Fantasy... You actually got to create different classes in just your character.
Change your class. Your same person.
Which is really cool because in real life,
it's a Final Fantasy Tactics thing, right? Where you change jobs.
Yeah. Final Fantasy V, actually, to be more specific. Sure. But yeah, like that.
And it's nice too because in real life, obviously you're stuck with who you are. You don't get to fucking re-choose again. So if you want to go down other routes, you just go down that route and you start off as a noob in it.
Learning.
And in there, you just start, it's the same way.
You start mixing classes.
It's great because it really created this, I don't know, almost like a paternal...
A very visceral attachment to your character.
Now, Garborg is taking us back to D2 based on something that you guys said. He says Blizzard really screwed Diablo, forcing Auction House to. It was basically by drop scarcity.
Yeah.
And I know exactly what he's saying because don't you remember that the currency was like LF Perf Shaco. I'll trade you like 80 SOJs.
Right. I was about to say SOJs.
Fucking SOJs. Fucking SOJs. Yeah, there wasn't a proper auction house, but there was a trade channel.
There was a proper currency.
It's like 20 SOJs for a goddamn Shaco.
That was the fucking currency.
or when the runes came out, you're trying to make Enigma.
Yeah.
Like a single rune could fucking go for like 30 SOJs.
Yeah.
Or Sages. Some people said.
Oh, yeah. Spike brought up a good point, too. He says what was cool is that they had level 30 classes, and you had to quest for them, too. Made the class mean something. It wasn't just handed out.
Paladin, Dark Knight.
As an outsider, I'm going to address something that just came up in chat. And you can validate me if you want to, or if it's true. So Hella Blue says, the problem that she had with Final Fantasy XI was that you could only get so far soloing, and then at a certain point you had to get into a group. It forced you to get into a group. Now, I would say
we talked about this already.
Well, did you say that the reason that you had to do that was because that's in the Final Fantasy tradition?
It is.
No, we didn't mention that.
Okay. Well, then there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, as an outsider, I never played Final Fantasy 11, but I can only imagine that part of the Final Fantasy appeal is that you can't do it by yourself.
It's honestly, it's one of those things that I would say it's not good or bad having to be in a party, but it is something that increases world immersion.
And I will say this. He remembers this. Yeah. I complained about that like crazy. At the time, I didn't care for it. And it's one of those things also, in hindsight, I respect the hell out of it because what it did for the community, where you just develop these lasting relationships and these great relationships amongst your guildies.
Deep connections in the world as well.
Yeah, maybe you found one buddy, two buddies that were consistent in leveling with you. You'd meet up at this hour on these days, and you guys would level together, and it's awesome. It established community. It established lasting relationships.
Is that a guinea?
Am I trying it? Oh, yeah.
Just try it. Do you like it?
I'm
not going to tell you what it is. Just do you like it?
It's pretty good.
What do you get out of it?
A little chocolate.
Let's see.
Really? I get no chocolate out of that.
I get fucking flatness out of this. Yeah, what the hell? It tastes almost sour towards the end there. What was it?
It doesn't taste good.
Something at the back end is
not good. It tastes
bright.
It's not like good.
Something's not right there.
It went bad.
It tastes like skunked hot.
I think it's skunked.
I think it went bad.
That does not feel right.
It's not skunked.